Dude now went to even cut his hair. That was what made me laugh. I was like, so you want to be like a responsible somebody? After you have killed everybody, you now want to carry your coconut head and travel out. You carry Ghana must go. You wear sexy shirts. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Essay and today we're going to be reviewing a Brotherhood, the action-packed blockbuster from Nollywood. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So Brotherhood is not a new movie that just came out yesterday. It actually premiered September of 2022, but it is now available on Prime Video for every one of us to watch. This movie tells the story of twin brothers Akin and Wale, who end up on opposite sides of the law after the tragic loss of their parents. The bond of their brotherhood is put to the ultimate test when one joins the task force that hunts down the other and his gang. The cast of this movie did a thing. So let's take a moment to talk about the BB Ninja actors and actresses that we had in this movie. Tobi, Boma, Dorothy, Sheyi, and this other girl, Diane. 5 BB Ninja stars in one movie. I think they did it for publicity's sake so that, you know, fans of all these BB Ninja celebrities would want to watch the show, but I don't even think they did that. But that aside, I think when I saw them, I was like, can these people really act? And they didn't disappoint. I feel everybody delivered the way they were supposed to. But let's put them to the corner and focus on the lead character, Tobi Bakre. Oh my god. Tobi Bakre is definitely underrated. Tobi can act. Let's just leave it there. He did so well. I feel like this movie has really shown him to be a well-seasoned actor who knows his onions. Like, his scenes never felt out of place, and the connection that he had with Falz, even though they didn't have a lot of scenes together where they were both conversing, a few scenes where they would pass each other and call each other like Olokba, you know, and the other one criminal. Like, I liked it. I liked that relationship. The chemistry there was very good, and it's interesting because it is not a man and woman type of chemistry. It's like brothers, you know. That's the essence of this movie, brotherhood, and we needed to feel that, and they both delivered. Speaking of Falz did an incredible job. It was so refreshing to see him acting something rather serious, rather than, instead of the typical, you know, comedy type fake voice that he always acts like we saw in Chief Daddy. It was like a breath of fresh air that we all needed. Like, they were almost stereotyping him to those type of roles where he has to fake the accent or act very stupid. I liked seeing him play serious. However, in some places I just felt like, dude, you know what I need to do? Relax yourself, because he was too serious and too uptight. He literally had to stick up his ass. Like, I was just like, guy, chill out. But he did very well. So also very, very good to see some of the oldies. Ooh, and I'm talking about none other than Dede and OCKJ. They were also in this movie and they played significant roles. OC was the backstabbing friend, yo. And I have to say, when I watched this movie, I was screaming because I love OCKJ. Ever since he did the Martina acting quest, that's how he even broke out in the first place. I was just really happy to see him play something else other than the sweetheart, the lover boy, right? Because he has that baby face, that nice face and a cute smile. So it was really nice to see him transform with the styling and the acting into this role of Easy, right? It was very, very, very good. I had this conversation with my sister and we're like, OCKJ reminds us of, he's like the Nigerian version of Michael Ealing, because when they act nice, they look perfect for the role. They are too nice. And then when they switch it up and act bad guy, we're like, who is this? Is this supposed to be like your alter ego or something? Because they just embody whichever character you give them so well. Jade Osiberu and her team, this particular team, need to be the only ones giving license to produce movies for Netflix or even Nollywood movies at all. I have to give them what? A round of applause, because the way the story in itself is rich and the way the story was told was beautiful. It is analogous to a fashion show where you start out with a striking entrance. This is me talking about the intro scene where, you know, we saw father and mother New Year's Eve and then they got shot. Like, watching it made me sit up. I was like, okay, let's go. What is this movie going to be about? What a way to start the story. And then the middle, oh my god, the middle was entertaining, it was captivating and well connected. It was good continuity. We didn't get to certain parts and I felt bored. Again, it was a good use of 1 hour 44 minutes because it wasn't too long and it was very straight to the point. We didn't have too many heists, although they showed 3 heists, but it wasn't bad. Like, I didn't feel bored. Each heist was interesting. Each heist had its own, you know, gengeness or something that would be like, I don't know if you get what I mean, but it was very, very, very entertaining, the middle part. Although there were certain bits here where I felt it was rather very telly and less showy. Rather than show and tell, it was just like they're telling us what happened. Now, for example, the name of the movie is Brotherhood, right? I expected to see more of their bond, right? As opposed, we know, I understand what they were trying to do with saying, okay, they don't see eye to eye, blah, 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 but they didn't have a lot of scenes together. And I wish maybe they had done something like flashbacks, for example. I feel like it would have enriched the movie even more, or those scenes, or helped us really understand where this bond went wrong, or where this hatred for each other stemmed from. I know they sort of told us in a dialogue between Wale and his auntie where he was basically saying, oh, he stole the first time, he stole the second time, he ended up in jail, blah, 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 blah. Because I just felt like it would have, I don't know, it would have given us that emotional connection or helped take our emotional connection to another level. Because where I even felt they had the best emotional connection was between Aki and his auntie. That bond was beautiful. It was very lovely to watch. You could tell that the auntie really liked Akin a lot. And of course, at the end scene where she ran when he was about to get killed and all, oh my god, that part touched me. And even though Falz in that moment was like, oh, my brother, I felt it, but it didn't feel as real as when the auntie went in, if that makes any sense. But this is even me digressing. I was talking about how it's analogous to a fashion show, right? And they ended with a bang. So we had an epic start, a lovely middle, and oh my god, that end deserves an entire section in this review. Like, they left the best for last. It had a lot of fireworks at the end. The action, it was, I had my hand on my head the entire time. Like, they highlighted certain themes. For example, the general theme of this movie is the fact that trauma shapes people differently, right? This is twin brothers, as in the bond doesn't get closer than that, right? But something tragic happened to them, and one went this way and one went left and the other went right. And again, this is another part where I feel like it was a missed opportunity to spread the message about the importance of mental health. Again, maybe that was not their MO, it's supposed to be an action movie, but this is me just even digging for things to say, that negative things to say about this movie, because I thought it was excellent. Another beautiful thing that they did with this movie was allow the bad guy win. Oh my god, I love when the bad guy wins. I don't know if you're like me, but let me know in the comment section if you're the kind of person that enjoys when the bad guy wins. Like, you have us rooting for the bad guy, and in the end, it's always so painful when the bad guy dies, because I don't really care for the actor, the good guy, right? I was really rooting for Tobi, and you know, when they shot him and he fell into the water, I was like, okay, he has escaped. But when they kept firing into it and he was like, stop, 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 I was like, God, not again. So just imagine my face, my smile when I found out that he was alive at the end. I was like, hey, that's what's up. I loved it. This movie was just exceptional. So before we continue on this review, I just want to say, please guys, it will mean a whole lot to me if you could hit that like button now, and also hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to my channel. So yeah, let's continue with the review. The very first thing that captivated me about this movie was the cinematography. You guys know I will always talk about how excellent the picture quality is in any movie I'm watching. It was top notch. I didn't expect anything less, but what particularly stood out for me in terms of cinematography was the lighting and the color grading. I liked the way they graded it, but in particular I liked the lighting. There was one part that may not have stood out to many of you, but I liked how they used the play of light to project the sort of like sun rays into the policeman's office. I thought that was very beautiful. There were a lot of scenes that they made really dark, and then when we were at the party, for example, the brother's wedding, they made it so bright and colorful. Like, it was really good use of light to really enhance storytelling, and for that I have to give them an applause. Location. I love the different parts of Lagos that they used in shooting this movie. I know some of it was also staged, but especially the scene on Third Mainland Bridge. The Third Mainland Bridge scene must have been very difficult for them to shoot because it is such a high traffic area and very busy, and they somehow managed to use that location, and it just elevated this movie and took it to another level. And even the garage that they use, like the mechanic workshop, looks like a freaking mechanic workshop. It was well staged, it looked the part. Everywhere that they used, the club, the policeman's house. Oh, I particularly enjoyed looking at the policeman's house because it really depicted his level, or the level that a senior policeman gets to. Another thing I loved about this movie was the good use of music and sound effects. It was very good. For me, I think where they took the cake, where they had me on chokehold, was the robbery scenes with their theme Ojuju song. I loved that soundtrack. The way they did Ojuju. Oh my god, it just gingered you. I don't know how to explain it, but it brought so much life to these scenes, those robbery scenes. And lastly, the epic use of Ashake's song Bandana, when they showed the outro, when Tobi Bakre, who is playing Aki, was driving out, when we all thought that he was dead. Oh, mind blowing. I loved it. Like, they got the part in the song that just fits that scene, where they were like, they never see me coming. I was like, okay, give that person their flowers, give the person who picked the songs and all the sounds their flowers, because it was very good. It was very good use of music. Now let's talk about costume, hair and makeup, because they did another thing. See, for all the other previous categories that I've mentioned, I'm giving them 10. But for costume, hair and makeup, I'm giving them 11/10 because I loved it. See, they really created characters out of all these our actors and actresses that we already know, with the costume and the styling. And it is not just for you to wear something. It's not about putting tattoos and all of that. It's about styling a character to being that person that he's playing. For example, OCUKJ. Everybody knows OCUKJ as this heartthrob, but the way they gave him the dreadlocks, the hair transformed him. The hair, the nose ring, his outfits, they really looked the part. Even with people like Falz, you know, the police vest with the long sleeved one, that is the look. One thing I really loved about the costumes was the costume of the Ojuju boys. Like, it made sense. When you think Ojuju, you think masquerade, so their masks just fit the part. I loved the masks. It gave the mystery, the mysteriousness. See, English is failing me at this point, but you get the drift. The end had me on chokehold, people. I loved everything about the end scene. Is it the part, starting from the part where, you know, they hooked up there was like this hook thing, they hooked up to the bridge and like swung up or lifted himself up. See, English is just failing me right now. But like, when they went to the top, I was like, watch it, let's go there, let's go. It was so nice. Or is it the way they were shooting against the police? Tobi's stance on top of the truck with the two guns. I was like, kill them, their father, kill them. Oh my god, I loved it. That scene was so powerful, so strong. I've talked about some parts about the end that I liked. The fact that they had killed everybody, it was now remaining Goldie, that's Toni Tones, and Aki, and they wanted to escape together. See, when he took the power bike and she just crossed over to the front, and basically she was facing backwards and he was driving forwards, and she had the two guns out. I was like, that should be the cover. That was amazeballs. I was like, it was too good. It was epic. I just wanted some more of that. It was just a shame that she died like rather shortly. But even the shock in Akin's face when they shot her on the neck. Oh, child, guys, me self, it shocked me. I was like, no. Oh, beautiful. See, now this is me digressing from the end. Speaking of deaths, when Akin shot his father-in-law, oh my god, that was another scene that I was like, no. It was so good. Like, see, whenever they killed people off in the movie, I was like, what in the Game of Thrones is going on here? I love the fact that people died, right? Even Easy, being the betrayer that he is, shooting Shadow, their boss, that's Basketmouth. I was like, easy, take it easy. Like, why are you a bastard? Why are you a bastard? This is so sad. Like, because the guy was like, give me gun. Yeah, she was, it was crazy. I liked the way they killed people off, even the way they killed Boma off when Mr. Macaroni was driving off. And that was very good, because at the end, we see that Mr. Macaroni was with Akin, so they didn't do something that made us believe that they killed Mr. Macaroni, because he actually drove off. So that was brilliant, right? They didn't miss that. The end scene again that I absolutely loved was the emotion that it brought with the police barricade, right? And the auntie, and then Wale trying to talk to his brother. He's like, don't run, this is the end of the road. That point I was just like, do something, like let something happen. It was really good. It was, I don't know, the emotions from different were just hitting me left, right, and center. And when he was like, they're like, drop it, I was like, oh no, please guy, don't raise your hand. The when he just touched his head to clean the sweat, and that idiot shot him not once but twice, I was like, he's over. And that stunt deserves accolades. I've seen stunts like that in Hollywood, but for Nollywood, I don't know how they did it. I've been seeing a tweet going viral about the stuntsman talking about how he did it. Guy, you did walk. You deserve your coins, because it brought so much authenticity and it just made that scene everything. And then the way they shot into the water, I was just like, you don't do now. You shot him, he's falling into the water, you still want, you still want to kill him. But that aside, I know you guys have been waiting for me to talk about this part. The absolute end that had me so happy is the fact that Akin didn't die, and he gave that greedy, stingy Easy what he deserved. Like, how dare you? How dare you, Easy? You killed your Oga, ran away with the money, and you now thought somehow in this dingy place with this old man, he's going to help you travel abroad. I'm like, if this man could help anybody travel abroad, you really think you'll be living in this sort of creepy, crappy house? But okay, dude now went to even cut his hair. That was what made me laugh. I was like, so you want to be like a responsible somebody? After you have killed everybody, you don't want to carry your coconut head and travel out. You carry Ghana Must Go, you wear sexy shirts. You joked. I loved when they just showed us, Akin just came with the gun. I was like, you're alive. So it was a good way to show that Akin was alive, rather than, it would have been as impactful if they just showed him driving off somewhere. You get what I mean? The fact that he came out, you're like, you this bastard, and he basically shot him. The impact of that shot self made him drop to the ground. I was like, yes, yes. I've never been so happy to see anybody being killed off any movie as I was happy to see them kill this useless Easy, because he was the root of their problems, because he was one that came up with this stupid idea that basically ended the Ojuju gang. So what do I think about this movie? You already know how I feel about this movie. Cinematography, 10 over 10. Location, 10 over 10. Music, 10 over 10. Staging, 10 over 10. Actors, 10 over 10. Performance, 10 over 10. Storyline, 9 over 10. Just because I felt like some subplots would have enriched it, but in itself, it was still really, really, really good. So overall, you can already guess what I'm going to rate this movie. I'm rating this movie a solid 10 over 10. I don't care what anybody says. Want to give it 9, 8. I don't bloody care. This movie, 10 over 10, because I enjoyed it and I finished it and I was like, wow, I actually want to watch this movie again. So let me know what you thought about this movie in the comments below. And until my next review, bye.